Hi, I'm Wanda Haynes. I'm host of Wine with Wanda here on WCTV. It's been on my heart for quite a while to do a show about wine called a Wine Roundtable. So this is my very first wine chat. And we have a most impressive guest here today, Gervasi Vineyard from Canton, Ohio. Let me tell you, Gervasi Vineyard has set the bar high, very high standards for any winery anywhere in America and especially here in Stark County. Gervasi Vineyard has taken property and transformed it into a wine wonderland. Music, food, property, wine, and now spirits. They've built up on their property ever since their inception, and they have lots of new erected properties, including hotels and distilleries that we're going to talk about. The properties are absolutely stunning, and it really is the hip trend to have your wedding at Gervasi. Everybody is having their wedding at Gervasi. People renewing their vows are doing it as well. The properties are beautiful, and we have three wonderful guests here, including the owner of Gervasi. There's so much to talk about. There's events going on throughout the year, and even though Gervasi won't toot their own horn, I will do it for them. Gervasi is one of the most incredibly generous companies in Stark County. They do a lot of charity work and donate a lot of amazing things to the community and nonprofits, and it's really quite impressive. And also, Gervasi is really terrific with promoting diversity. If you saw any of their ads, it's really a trailblazing type thing for them to do that. They're putting minorities in their ads, and they're being very much diverse in the wine industry. And I'm so proud to be able to sit and speak with them and hear all the wonderful things that's going on. And so without any further ado, we're going to talk to Scott, and he's going to tell you lots of incredible things about Gervasi Vineyard.
Well, thank you for having us, first of all. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about Gervasi, and always happy to talk about wine. You mentioned diversity. We really welcome everyone to Gervasi, so I first want to say that. It's been a dream of my family to create such a wonderful destination that really welcomes everyone, and we really appreciate the opportunity to talk about it today. It really started out as a family project. My dad was looking for something that our family could do together and discovered this amazing piece of property that really had some beautiful, we could say good bones. It had an amazing historic barn, spring-fed lake and stream, and just beautiful topography. And we've, over the years, the last 9 years, we've turned it into a destination winery resort. So it's really grown into something much bigger than it started out to be. But we've listened to what the public wants from us, and we've tried to respond to that. And as you mentioned, with that has come things like weddings and a hotel and now a distillery. So it's been exciting to see it evolve, and we appreciate the opportunity to talk about it today.
Absolutely, and every time I've been to Gervasi, I've had the time of my life. I've tried new foods, new wines, and I always meet new people. There's all sorts of things going on, car shows and events. Gervasi always keeps it interesting. And let me put this in, Gervasi is for everyone. There's price points for everyone. I'm a single girl, and I always end up at Gervasi, eating and doing whatever I like. There are special times of the week where they have a happy hour with special pricings on appetizers. The Crush House might be a good stop for that, but Gervasi is for everyone. So for those who hasn't been to Gervasi, shame on you. You've got to get going. You're going to have the time of your life. You will be transformed by the experience of visiting this incredible winery.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, because one of the things I think that has evolved over time is we've become the special celebration place. And actually our company motto is Celebrate Life. So we embrace that, we welcome it. And with that sometimes comes people wanting to spend a little more money on a special meal, and that's available to you at the bistro if you want it. But we do have a range of prices available. We have the Crush House, as you mentioned, which is more casual dining experience. You can go in there and have a sandwich or a salad, and much lower price point. The Outdoor Piazza, which is available in the summertime, is more casual. And even in the bistro, you can go in and have a pizza and a glass of wine. So there really is a range, and you mentioned we have a really aggressive, exciting happy hour where you can get some amazing deals. So there's really a little bit of everything for everyone there. So it just depends what you're looking for.
Absolutely. Yeah, so when you go out to Gervasi, when you step onto the property, you're just transformed. You're going from where you were to a whole nother type of space. It's absolutely amazing. And I love the wines. I believe the portfolio has increased to over 30 at this point. And one of my favorite wines is here as well. We'll talk about that. And Gervasi has won lots of awards for winemaking throughout the state and nationally. And we're going to talk about that with none other than the winemaker. Tell us all about the winemaking and the new spirits at Gervasi, Andy.
Well, good morning, Wanda. Thank you for having us here. It's a pleasure for us to be a part of this program. And I think I'll just start with your favorite wine, the ice wine. You know, a lot of people don't really understand how ice wine is produced. And legally, the grapes have to freeze on the vine. So here in Ohio, we're able to do things that other parts of the country cannot do, especially the warmer climates out west. And our ice wine typically freezes around mid-December, but we have had frosts and freezing times as late as January. And that the way that is harvested, usually about 3 o'clock in the morning while it's still dark and you're adorned with ski masks and heavy gloves. You're on your hands and knees in the vineyard. The snow is falling, it's 15 degrees, and you're working under the headlights of a tractor.
And you probably haven't had breakfast yet either, by the way.
No breakfast. And so you pick the grapes while they're frozen. They're like clusters of frozen marbles. They go directly into containers, and immediately they are rushed to the winery where they go into a large hydraulic basket press. And all of the liquefied juices, they're full of the sugar and the intensified flavors, all just come out, and a lot of the water crystals then will stay behind. And that makes this a very special, very elegant, and a very rich product. At the Ohio Wine Competition this past May, our Sonata Ice Wine received an award for the best ice wine in Ohio.
Oh.
So we're very, very, very happy and pleased with that.
I'm certainly not surprised. It's one of my favorite wines at Gervasi, and I always tell everyone on Wine with Wanda that don't worry about the cost of a fine wine. This is a very labor-intense wine, and yes, it is a diminutive bottle. However, the reason for that is because it is a dessert wine by wine classification. So if you're drinking this, and I can have more than one glass of wine, I assure you, of any wine. But this is a dessert wine, and it is sweet. It isn't cloyingly sweet. It's finessed. Gervasi makes a finessed product. It does have an acidity to cut some of the sweetness on the actual product. So when you see the small bottle and you see the price tag, don't worry about it. This is a beautiful wine, and I love this specific wine. So please, try out the Gervasi ice wine.
And Wanda, the second wine that we would like to present out of our large portfolio is our Passione, which is produced from the Aramella grape. And this is grown on our property. Now, the Aramella grape is a special variety that was developed by Cornell University to live and thrive in some of our more hostile Northeast Ohio climates. And at the Ohio Wine Competition, this received a double gold, and the Ohio Department of Agriculture Director's Choice Award for Best Ohio White Wine. And so we're very pleased with it. It's a wine that has aromatics that are akin to a muscat. So it has some of those characteristics in there that make it very aromatic. And again, it's a semi-sweet wine that has a beautiful balance between the acidity, the flavor profile, and the natural sugars that are there.
And what's the alcohol percentage on this wine?
That one is in the range of 13%.
Nice, very nice. I'm very impressed that you all are growing grapes and making wine from them. Like I said, Gervasi Vineyards are trailblazers at their vineyard, so we have a lot of wines to talk about and spirits. Tell us a little bit about the distillery.
Well, the distillery is our newest venture into the alcoholic beverage product line. And we started production early this year, and currently we're offering 6 products, 2 bourbons, 2 vodkas, and 2 gins. And what we brought with us today to share with you are just 3 of those products. And here on my far left is our wine barrel bourbon. The wine barrel bourbon is a traditionally aged bourbon product that then is finished for about 6 to 8 months in our Gervasi wine barrels. And it just nuances that bourbon with a new elegance and roundness and a sense of age that you wouldn't expect, from a product like that. It has been just amazingly well received. Next to it is our Sinner's Blush. It is a rosé vodka. It's a distilled spirit specialty by definition, and it's based upon the vodka that we distill on our property, and it has a percentage blend of one of the wines that we grow on the property, which comes from our Frontenac Gris grape. That wine is called Le Chito. This particular rosé vodka has a beautiful perfume of strawberry and cherries in it, and is beautiful just over a little bit of ice. All you need is a glass, a little bit of ice, and a good chair, and nothing else around you will even matter with that wine. It's just so beautiful. And then the other product that we have on the far right is our Saint's Desire Blood Orange. It is a gin-based specialty spirit with a fruit-forward characteristic. So the juniper structure is still there like you would expect in a product of this type, but we let the elegance of citrus come forward, and then highlighted by the Italian blood orange peel. And so we look at it, and we gave it the color of the morning sunrise of the Mediterranean, along with the characteristics that come from that Italian blood orange.
Andy, not only are you a fine winemaker, you also seem like you might be a poet with how you're describing these incredible libations today. I will say that when I drink a wine or a spirit, I drink it with my eye first. And as you can see, these wines are aesthetically stunning, beautiful to give us a gift. The holidays are not that far off. Consider that's a beautiful package to give to someone as a gift. And especially since they're brand new, you can try them out that way. They're stunningly beautiful, and I'm really impressed with the distillery. That's incredible.
For those that would like to know more, not only about the product, but how it's produced, we offer free public tours every Sunday at noon at 1 o'clock, and we have educated tour guides that walk people through the process. And this year, we're also into our new make bourbon that we are producing from scratch, and we're using all Ohio grown grains for that. The corn for that new make bourbon comes from about 3 miles up the road where we are, and then it's milled at Hartville Elevator, again in Hartville, Ohio, and we're just really pleased to be able to use Ohio grains in this product. Now that won't be ready to go on the shelves for about 4 to 5 years, just because of the
aging process.
Of the aging process, that's correct. But we just love the opportunity to highlight Ohio products. For example, the Sognata ice wine that we talked about, that is an Ohio-grown product. Our Passione, a white wine that we have there, again, grown on our estate. And then the other wine that we didn't talk about was our latest edition of our Hall of Fame co-branded wine, our Pinot Grigio. Again, that is an Ohio-grown product.
Tell me a little bit about how you received permission from the Football Hall of Fame to use their images to produce these beautiful wines.
Well, that's probably a subject better addressed by Scott, because I was part of the deal, but a lot went into that, and Scott can share about that.
Please do share. That's very impressive. I know people love the Football Hall of Fame, and a lot's going to be going on with it in the near future. And so, yeah, tell us how you secured that.
Well, we have a great relationship with them, both being tourist destinations in the county, so we work with them on a lot of different projects. So when it came to wine, the opportunity presented that they were looking for a very special gift to be able to give to some of their most important relationships they have, some of the team owners, Hall of Famers, people of that nature. At the same time, we appreciate the opportunity to sell a really special branded product. So we worked with them together and agreed that it would be a co-branded product, so both of our names appear on the label. And this is actually our 4th year to do this. And then the names of the products, like this year's is called Respect, actually mimic the 5 values that we have. One more to go. So we've had the first 4 of their primary values of the Hall of Fame. We've had excellence, we've had integrity, and now respect. So we're really excited to work with them on that, and hope to finish the the collection with the 5th one next year.
So if you have a football lover, fan that's a friend, or you have to give a gift to someone who's really into football, consider giving a wine that has the Hall of Fame image on it. I think that's a marvelous idea.
Yeah, it's been a great relationship for both of us, and it is available for sale at our marketplace and all of our outlets.
Terrific.
So, yeah.
So we have Jeff. Jeff, tell us what's going on at Gervasi Vineyard as far as social media is concerned. I also want to touch bases that Gervasi Vineyard hires a lot of people in Stark County and probably Summit County as well. At a time where Stark County is very much in need of economic growth, Gervasi Vineyard has definitely brought that with all the new properties that have been recently erected and hiring. That's really a big deal when a company can hire and give someone a job to support their families. So not just a business, but also a cause. So Jeff, tell us a little bit about what's going on in your neck of the woods with Gervasi Vineyard.
Thank you, Wanda. And as Andy and Scott have said, we're really honored, to be here and talk with you, because we can feel your passion about wine, and we appreciate that. But I have the joy of getting to talk about Gervasi every day in my job, and I'm our brand manager, so social media is my game. And if you've followed Gervasi at all, the great thing about my job is I feel like I'm a storyteller. And you touched on the fact that we have a lot of weddings at our property earlier, and we're so honored by that. Every year, our wedding business tends to grow, and being able to share those stories on social media means so much to us, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
So if someone is looking to be hired at Gervasi Vineyard, if someone is looking to be an employee, how do you go on the website and maybe look into employment at the company?
Absolutely. We actually have on our homepage, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of our homepage, there's an employment link, and we keep that page up to date, because so much of our business is driven seasonally. For example, at the end of this month, we start to close down the piazza. So a lot of those young people are going back to school, and next season, when spring comes around, hopefully fast, we'll need to hire a whole nother group of wonderful young people. So at any time, you can go to gervasivineyard.com, click on the employment link, and look at all the different available jobs.
Yeah, and about that, the Gervasi website is amazing. There's so much going on it. You can be entertained by the website alone. Everything that Gervasi Vineyard does has been well thought out and very professionally done. The website is very interactive. You can learn about each of the wines. I think the portfolio has grown to over 30 at this point, and there is a description about each and every wine. There's menus for all of the restaurants, including the Twisted Olive, which is one of my favorite restaurants there. And we're going to have Scott tell you a little bit about some of the new properties. How exciting. So many restaurants, hotels, live music. Scott, tell us about the new properties that have been erected.
Well, the latest project consisted of the Casa, the brand new hotel, which features 24 individual private suites, and then the distillery, which we call the Still House. So with the hotel, we had been in the hotel business with the villas for the last about 8 years. And the demand for those 24 rooms was so high that we really just needed to have more guest rooms for both hotel guests, wedding guests, for corporate retreats, and really for tourists. The tourists were really getting blocked out because the weddings were being booked, the rooms were being booked so far in advance. So by doubling our capacity, we really have become a resort. We now have 48 rooms plus the farmhouse available, so we have a lot of options for people. The Casa is a horseshoe-shaped building, a little more of a conventional hotel structure with a beautiful private courtyard. So guests there can have a little more of a romantic, quiet kind of escape, whereas the villas are a little more connected to the main property, a little more lively environment. So we're really excited about those spaces. They have heated floors, they have a fireplace in every room, nice spacious bathrooms, and king-size beds, and just it's really special. People should see it. The distillery, which is right next to the Casa, is, like I said, mentioned, called the Still House. It looks like a chapel, and it really was done that way to sort of be the centerpiece of our whole property, which has become kind of reminiscent of an Italian village. And every little village in Italy has a chapel that's sort of the center of town, and so the Still House has become that for us. It's reminiscent of the church in Italy that my grandmother was baptized in, so we're really honored to connect to that heritage. And there we have our Welcome Center, which is for visitors to come in and get information about the property, also do guest check-in, and then there's a beautiful lounge environment, which is basically a coffee house by day and a cocktail lounge by night. So behind that is a production distillery where the products that Andy talked about are made, but the front of that building is all a public space, which is really just a beautiful place to hang out and have a drink or a coffee, dessert, some snacks before or after you may have dinner at one of the other restaurants on property.
Sure, and if you're looking to rent one of the beautiful rooms at 2 of the hotels now, I've had the privilege of staying at the villas. They're incredible, beautiful little breakfast that comes. I love that yogurt, and the properties are beautiful, and I do look forward to being able to stay at the new property perhaps in 2020. I know that they're packed and they're hard to get into, but Scott, tell us how to go about who you would contact if you're looking to book a wedding there, or if you're looking to actually rent one of the villas or a property at the new hotel.
Well, in terms of the hotel, you can always do one of 2 ways. You can always go online and directly reserve rooms and look at availability through the website. There's a very interactive links that really show you what's available. You can also always call our 330-497-1000 extension 1 will take you directly to our guest services team, who are happy to take care of anyone and answer any questions and help bookings. Regarding weddings, we're very much in the wedding business. We have over 140 weddings per year now, with both our outdoor venue, the pavilion that seats up to 300 now. Our indoor venue, which seats about 120 for a wedding, and then we also have gotten into much smaller intimate weddings by converting our greenhouse into a chapel. So you can go and have a intimate 20 to 40 person ceremony in this beautiful greenhouse chapel, and then which we call the conservatory, and then move on to one of the restaurants for a special celebratory dinner. So all of those can be booked by calling our main line and going to the event sales team, or you can actually email sales@gervasivineyard.com and get all the questions answered, look at availability of dates, and learn about the venues. And of course the website has lots of information about weddings as well.
Yes, again, that website is very much interactive. It has so much information, and the customer service at Gervasi Vineyard is also incredible. They're happy to answer any questions, answer the phone politely. If they can't answer your questions, then they will get you the person who needs to answer it for you. And there's lots of events going on at Gervasi. There's something going on at the end of September that I would like for Scott to tell you about. So also, for those of you who haven't been, I really want you to go to Gervasi Vineyard. This is a nominal chance to check out Gervasi Vineyard's property, their food, their wine, all the great people that are always at Gervasi having a great time and a great atmosphere. So Scott, tell us about what's going on the end of the month at the festival, the fall festival.
Well, every year since we've been open, we've had a harvest festival. Being a winery, you really want to celebrate your harvest. So we do so by a very special festival called Festa Gervasi. It's on Sunday, September 29th, so it's coming up very soon. We do it in collaboration with the 720 Market, which is a local market that actually brings over 120 vendors, local vendors that have all different types of products from home goods to food to farm products. So there will be thousands of people there. There's no fee to come. There's free parking. We have a free shuttle service if you need to park off-site. It's from 11 to 4. We also have all of our restaurant venues open. There'll be food trucks, a lot of satellite food and beverage opportunities. It's really, really a fun festival. It's a very family-friendly event, and it's a chance for someone who's never maybe been to Gervasi to kind of see it all at one time and really just have a wonderful afternoon.
Right, that's what I was saying. And also you have tours. Please tell us about the tours that if you have a meetup group or you have a couple of hours gap in your week and you'd like to do something fun and get out to Gervasi before you have your meal and your wine and get a tour. And tell us about that. I believe that it's no cost, am I correct?
Well, we have complimentary winery tours on Saturdays at 12, 1, and 2. And as Andy mentioned, the distillery has tours on Sundays at 12 and 1. Layered on top of that, there's a couple other tour opportunities. We can do private tours for a small fee for somebody who would like to have a special one-on-one with their group or small group in the winery. We can schedule those different times of the week. The other thing that we have are we call our pairings or tasting tours. These are Saturday or Sunday afternoon, depending on the winery or distillery location. And for a small ticketed fee, you can go in, have a more intimate tour, and then it ends with a food and or wine experience. So in the case of the winery, it's the pairings where they pair food and wine. It's really an awesome experience. People love it. And on Sundays, it's more of a spirits tasting experience, but very educational as well. So we have a lot of variety of things that we can do there. And then, of course, we call them anytime tours, that people just at any point ask a manager or a staff member when they're dining in one of the outlets to just take a quick look at the tour at the facility, the winery, or the distillery. They'll certainly help them with that if they can.
Terrific. And Jeff, I'd like for you to tell WCTV viewers about how valuable is it to actually get your name on the Gervasi Vineyard mailing list for future events and special offers.
Oh, thank you. Well, it is important because it's one of the first lines of communication we have with our guests and our loyal followers. So you can go to our website at any time and sign up for the GV Club. And we release a lot of event information about new wines, all kinds of useful information. And another thing to mention along those lines is we also have cooking classes at Gervasi, and those tend to take place after wedding season when we can use our commercial kitchen. And we have a specific newsletter for our cooking classes. We call that the Cucina newsletter, and we let our followers and fans of our cooking classes know about the schedule there first before social media, and those sell out rather quickly. So it's important to sign up because you'll be the first to know.
Well, thank you all so much. I had the time of my life having Gervasi Vineyard be a part of Wine Chat. Make sure you get out to some of the special events that Gervasi is holding this year. If you have any questions, go on the website. Feel free to call Gervasi Vineyard. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us.